you don't want to bring Batman. This show's not about Batman.
It's not
I
Justice
agree.
League. What I don't get is in the previously on, typically what they do is they show you a previously on to get you up to par with what's going to kind of happen in this episode.
Sorry.
I mean, Dick Grayson being mind controlled, not a very good cliffhanger at all.
She stole it from Vision. Oh, it's the same stone as Vision.
I remember. And I'm back. Like, okay, yeah. It's been done so many times.
So we were talking last
Yeah.
week. So Lee, you missed last week. Now I completely understand why. 2 weeks ago you said this doesn't feel right when we were talking about Titans, and you said it's obnoxious. I completely understand why. Last week should have been the finale of season 1.
Absolutely.
Because you introduce Deathstroke and then go nowhere with it. That feels like it should have been at the end of season 1. Here's the next big bad. And especially the absolute pitiful way the Trigon was taken care of.
Yeah. That's a really lame opener to a season.
Yes.
Like I'm surprised. Well, I mean, that might be why we never really heard much about this show until it was 4 seasons in. And even then, we didn't really hear much about it. We kind of stumbled upon it.
I started watching it, and I was like, ooh, I kind of like this.
I knew it existed, and I saw it pop up a few times. I just knew that I didn't have the time to get into a new show. So
I knew it was on Max for a while. I was just like, I don't know. It was edgy at first, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch a comic book show because I started watching the first episode, and it was a lot of language, and unnecessary language in a TV show is not my favorite. But they dwindled it down quite a bit, and there's certain characters who use language because it's part of who they are. Like Hawk is more language than anybody else.
He's a Christian. He had something that came out recently where he's just talking about stuff. I forgot what it was specifically, but I think somebody we know recently reposted a video of his. I was kind of surprised.
I would be too. But I think this episode would have been a great first episode of the season.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What I don't get is in the previously on, typically what they do is they show you a previously on to get you up to par with what's going to kind of happen in this episode. And they showed a lot of Trigon. Why? I don't get that. Trigon's supposedly dead. Is he really dead? Is he not dead? Is he alive? Will Deathstroke be a harder nemesis than Trigon?
They showed a lot of Trigon, and I'm not giving anything away here. Again, I'm like a season. I'm literally a season ahead of you guys. Now that we're talking episode 2, I'm literally a season ahead, if not slightly more. And all it's really getting into is really who she is, who Raven is. That's what they're getting into here, because that's who Trigon is. That's what happened to her. They're using that as a point to kind of get into what's up with her. Because if you do remember in this episode, she's taking a nap. All the black stuff comes up and starts slicing her up on the sides. She doesn't know why. It's because of what just happened with Trigon. So that's what they're kind of leading into here.
Yeah, but she has no heart.
Yeah.
She's cold.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Come on, she's cold. Come on.
She has no heart.
She has a stone.
She's got.
she has a stone. So I mean,
Captain America gave her the Soul Stone. She stole it from Vision. Oh, it's the same stone as Vision.
No,
it's in the same spot.
It's the Mind Stone.
Looks the same.
It's not.
It's the same.
It's not.
It's the stone. Anyways, I agree with both of you. I really enjoyed this episode. I think this would have been a perfect opener.
Yes.
To the second season. It baffles me how that worked. It's weird.
It almost makes me wonder if they just made a mistake when they put it up on HBO Max originally.
Could have.
And it was just like, oops, sorry. We meant this actually was supposed to be the end of this, but we just miscategorized.
It's possible.
Because there's nothing about it that makes it seem like it's a finale.
Nothing.
The finale's happening.
Nothing.
But this episode is clearly the end of it.
Right.
Yeah, it was a really... I think I understand, whatever. I know you guys are already saying it, but the whole cliffhanger thing, that clearly was not a cliffhanger.
Deathstroke would have been the cliffhanger.
Deathstroke would have been the
Deathstroke
cliffhanger.
would have been the
That's how you do
cliffhanger.
it. That's how you do it. That's
Right.
how they've always done it. That's how Dad did it, and it's worked pretty well so far. Sorry.
I mean, Dick Grayson being mind controlled, not a very good cliffhanger at all. It was hard.
Great episode.
A fantastic episode. It just it didn't fit. It's
Right,
weird.
no.
It's weird the way that they did things. And to each of your point, you're right. Deathstroke should have been or even, end the season like with a hint of this guy, Mr. Light, that they're
Dr. Light.
Dr.
Who
Light.
is Mr. Light?
Yeah,
I
he's
put
in a
that, I
doctorate.
put that in the notes too. Is who is Dr. Light?
He comes into this episode, all your soul is mine, so.
Well, you know who Dr. Pepper is, right?
Oh.
The physician.
Your soul is mine.
Your soul is mine.
Your soul is mine. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I love that
we know.
movie.
We
It's
all know.
amazing.
It's fantastic.
Yes,
The
it
original
is.
The original is so good.
The original,
yeah?
it's campy. The original is really campy, but it's still a good movie.
There was a third one that happened after Annihilation,
Really?
I heard that there was,
Huh?
and I have no interest in it whatsoever. Because Annihilation was hot garbage.
They did a TV show too for a while, and that
They
was
did.
horrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
But who is Dr. Light though?
You'll find out.
I'm sure we will. I don't want him
But
to answer that
you'll
question.
find out, but it's not a big deal.
Well, will he be? Will
Thanks.
he be? The,
Well,
thanks.
I mean,
stop with that.
what? It's kombucha.
Doesn't look like it.
Smell it.
No.
It's peach.
It's kombucha.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that myself. Who is Dr. Light and why is this now? And another thing, it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle a villain like this, like another superpowered villain. I feel like the villains that they're introducing on the television show are way above Dick Grayson's pay grade. like on the surface, he does not look like he's equipped to handle any of this at all. But somehow
on the surface, he
he's
does not look calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting Mom's spaghetti.
What? No.
No. Anyway,
What I don't get is it's just it's Batman and Superman against Darkseid all over again. When they introduce supervillains like this,
I guess so.
Against Deathstroke, fine. Against these superpower guys, you're right. Dick Grayson's got nothing.
No.
Well, I take that back. He can take out multiples of bad guys while being under the influence of
yeah, but they were
multiple mind suppressant drugs.
they were just regular people.
Yeah, but he had over 200%.
I know. We're gonna up the dose by 200%. I'm still mad about this.
He was chemically comatose, and he can take on 12 guys.
He had really good training. That's what I'm sticking
I'm
with.
surprised he had any use of his motor functions after that.
Yes.
Well, you know what saved him, right?
Love?
Love.
Was it love?
It was love.
It was love. It's always love.
In episode 1, Rachel loved Dick Grayson. In episode 6, Dick Grayson fell in love with Rachel. No, that would be weird.
Yeah.
But it was. You can't leave me. So she said, "You can't leave me."
Oh, okay.
Here I am.
How you doing?
I mean, that's the cliche. Like, you have to have the one-on-one. It seems like it's the end, but then, isn't that what happened with Gar too? No, it was with Dick. Okay, yeah, she goes.
It was just with Dick.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Is like, it's cliche. It's done every single time, where somebody has to have that conversation. Like, remember the good times we had. Remember, please remember. And suddenly, all of a sudden, I remember. And I'm back. Like, okay, yeah. It's been done so many times.
We had
that's why
we had this conversation with Neo and Trinity.
I know.
So, yeah, that was a thing there. Couple of questions that I had coming out of this episode, and this being the first one. we get this whole scene between, Hank and Dawn, Hank and Dove, whatever you want to call them. And we come to find out that they're helping people get off of drugs because they were on drugs. I'm sorry, did I miss something in the first season? They never touched on drug addiction with either one of these characters.
He was doping up right off the bat. When we first saw him, he was in the bathtub doping up.
Yes, and he couldn't perform.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but are we sure that it was drug? Because they go into this whole story.
No,
they weren't very clear at all. Especially when you're mixing that storyline with the storyline of this weird serum that's out there that's making people superhuman or whatever MK Ultra thing that's going on, and now we have him I thought he was just like shooting up some type of steroid or some type of painkiller for his hip. In no way did they hint towards they're both junkies. None of that ever was a thing.
Well, they did once in the Dick Grayson episode when they are flashing back, or the one before that when they're cooking up crack.
How much of that can you take at face value? That was all a hallucination thing, and you saw Dick Grayson go kill Batman. So how much of that can we really say, okay, this was all real, this all happened?
I think what Trigon was doing, though, in those scenes, though, was he was taking their deepest desires and playing them out in real life.
That's where they gave it there. Yeah, that's a valid point. Forgot about that part.
I don't know.
So
it's not okay. It's not clean. I'll say that.
If they were, because he was doping up on something. What they weren't clear about is him. It's like that he's doping up on something, and then now all of a sudden 3 months later he's 3 months clean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Normally, when you show people who are struggling with like drug addiction or anything like that, it isn't shoot up, get in bed, and be like coherent enough to try to make love to somebody. It's in bed, you're passed out, you're done.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that whole scene like afterwards should have never happened.
Drugs work differently in DC.
Unless you're Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Then you can take out 12 guys and perform all in one night.
Yep. Accurate.
What's your superpower? Well, I wonder though, if they continue with the serum thing. Lee, don't say anything. I know you've watched it. It would be cool if Deathstroke is jacked up on this stuff too.
Now you remember they did that in Arrow, right? It was all the Midakuru, whatever.
Well, Deathstroke in Arrow was Arrow's friend.
Yes, and then he wasn't.
And then he wasn't.
Was again.
It was kind of a big deal. Like he was awesome in that, and he was not. No, it was not a hot second. That was a really big deal for quite some time. It was like the entire season.
Yeah,
of him being like the enemy who was really formidable.
And the guy who played him in Arrow did a really good job.
Yes. Like he's forever going to be, Deathstroke for me.
I hope this guy does an equal job.
Well, keep in mind that we're looking at the new generation of heroes. So, as you saw there, Deathstroke was a little bit older. So we're seeing these older aging characters. I'm not giving anything away about that, but that's really what it comes down to, is we're seeing these characters and they're not what they used to be.
I think it's really interesting. I think it's really interesting that Jason Todd knows him. I think that's kind of cool.
Well, I mean, yeah, because if Batman knows him, then he knows him. It's kind of like
I'm Batman.
Yeah. So let me talk about the act just for a sec about Batman, because I know we talked about it before briefly when I jumped in with you guys, and maybe I don't know if it was in the Titans episode or
Titans. We gave it away.
I didn't give it away.
You gave it away. The point is,
we were talking about Batman. What? The gloves? Get over that. Listen,
the gloves.
You're still gonna laugh at it because it's ridiculous. But I will say this: there is a slight resemblance to Adam West that this actor has. I say slight only because he doesn't look like anybody else who's ever played Batman. But if you were to compare him to anybody, it would be him. It's the eyes, something about the way he's done up. But what I think is really cool is his voice is not exact, but it almost resembles Kevin Conroy, and I like that. If you listen to how he speaks, The only difference is he has a slightly more New York accent that kind of comes out at the end of some of his lines. But I actually really like the way this guy speaks. I love his voice for Batman. But that's kind of what I wanted to touch upon. I'm happy we finally got to an episode where we hear him actually speak.
I think he would have been a better Alfred.
You need an old Batman. You want an old Batman that you kind of don't like. And that's what they're doing here.
Andrew Lincoln's problem was he really had a hard time shaking his British accent. Ian Glenn has a really hard time shaking his accent. It's jarring. It's the only thing that I'm having a problem with this character. Other than that, his relationship with Dick, which I still kind of am baffled by, they built this entire first season on a clear separation of Dick and Bruce or Robin and Batman for a lot of reasons. And we were led to believe that it was because maybe Bruce is kind of losing it a little bit and things are getting a little bit too violent for Dick and he just wants out. But that wasn't really the case at all. And now we're in this position where they're working together and Dick is not only like embracing Bruce back into his life, but seeking guidance about what to do. Like, I don't know.
I can't believe I didn't remember him from Resident Evil. He was like the bad guy in Resident Evil.
Was he?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I saw that movie. I'm sorry.
Me too, but when I saw that, I thought about it. I'm like, oh, dude, it's totally him. Just give him glasses. It's him. Yeah. Anyway. Back then, he kind of resembled our buddy there, who always dies, or is backstabber.
Sean Bean.
One does not simply... Yes, Sean Bean. Anyway. One does not simply replace Sean Bean with Ian Glenn. But, yes.
One does not simply just walk into...
So.
We all see
your soul is...
Your soul is mine.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the introduction of Rose here? Very much like Trinity in the beginning of Matrix. Her just running around and suddenly jumping up and across the buildings into a window, and then.
So this is gonna sound weird. Has either of you guys played Dead or Alive or Soul Calibur fighting games?
Yeah, Dead or Alive.
She reminds me of one of the female fighters on Dead or Alive. That's just how.
It's racist.
What?
Okay.
Why is that racist?
Go ahead, continue.
No, just the way that she's dressed, her hair is done up, that silver hair. She just in the way she fights, reminded me of like some of the female fighters on Dead or Alive. I don't know how that's racist.
What's with her whole healing ability?
Yeah, which they never really explain or get into, and why she still have an eye patch.
Not at all.
I don't know.
Well, they're gonna probably get into it. They just introduced her.
Understandable, but why does she still have the patch on her eye if it's healed?
Well, he replaced it.
Why?
Gar is under the impression that her eye is still missing.
It's missing, but healed up.
Well, the wound.
Yes.
That makes no sense. If she can heal, she should be able to grow her eye back.
Well,
if that's the issue. I mean, we don't know what her power is if you're saying there's a power.
She claims to be able to heal.
She claimed that?
Or they claimed it in the show.
Who claimed that?
They showed that in the show.
When?
She is a bloodied mess with cuts and bruises and bullet wounds and whatever else all over her body. Dick brings her back to,
hand.
Her hand, and her hand healed up. Like, she was fine. She went to sleep and she woke up and she was fine.
So her eye should grow back.
Why does her eye have to grow back? Why can't she just, like, heal?
But if she was going to heal, her eye would grow back.
No. Healing is different. If you lose your eye, you will eventually heal, but your eye won't grow back. She just has rapid healing, not what Ryan Reynolds Deadpool has. Like, he can't just grow back, but he can heal over. So fast healing is different than replacement. Rejuvenation.
This is the lizard dude from Spider-Man.
No, it's
no.
No, this type of healing is different than what you think. It's not like you lose your ear, it grows back. It's you lose your ear, it'll stop bleeding quicker.
That's stupid.
No, that's more realistic.
I think
That's not healing. That's stupid.
I think that's a little bit more realistic.
I
don't like it. If she was able to like grow back limbs and grow back eyeballs, like then it gets to the point of hilarity for me. I want there to be a little bit of vulnerability to some of these characters.
Corey can do it.
Corey's an alien. Big difference. Corey is an alien.
So, but why can she heal?
Have we seen Corey lose a limb? Or
No.
a appendage of any kind?
No.
Didn't think so.
No, we've seen bullets just burn as they touch her skin.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a thing. I don't know. I like this character. I like Rose. I like that she can't grow an eye back. I think that would be okay. Now you're just overpowered.
Unless Corey is the first transgender alien in a comic book, and she was once a he, and when she healed, it didn't grow.
Oh dear.
It didn't grow back.
Didn't grow back.
So
No.
you know,
There was one transgender person in this episode, and it was the barista.
That means that Dick Grayson
What?
doesn't own a dog.
that whole thing was stupid. When he goes in there and it's like Dirk. Oh, it's Dick. Excuse me. Like what? Do you not know how to pronounce the name Dick?
Okay, here's my one question about Grayson. When did he quit his job?
I've been wondering this for a while. I'm like, how is he surviving?
Well, obviously Bruce Wayne.
Bruce.
Okay, yes, got that. But the question is, it's like, do you just not show up when you're a detective? Like, you just kind of show up whenever you want?
Imagine he's still on the payroll.
Yeah, and there's like, hey, where's Dick? I don't know. Okay.
He's a detective. No one cares.
No, not at all.
He'll find himself.
It's 2,000 miles away from where you're supposed to be working now, buddy. Come on.
He's on the West Coast now.
It's little dumb things like this that goes back to the question of like, how much detail are they really going to get into and anything? And I've always wondered when I watched a lot of shows and in movies and stuff like that, I'm like, how do these people survive when they're never at work? They're never doing their jobs. You know, and then the question comes down, it's like, well, I never seen them eat breakfast either, but blah, blah, blah. No, clearly he has spent all of his time not working, and nobody cares.
But he gets paid. He goes and gets money from Alfred. He's obviously getting fed by Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
But
he hates Bruce Wayne, and he cut himself off from Bruce Wayne.
Does he, though?
But yet he kept... No, now he's not so much, but before...
But did he, though?
Episode 1, he's just like...
I need an answer. I need an answer to that question because he clearly, like, the whole first season was clearly built around Dick Grayson wants a complete break from Bruce, and now it's
yet he's still taking his money.
Yeah,
and his cars,
well,
and his toy, using his toys,
and his toys.
Yep, such wonderful toys.
But that's the thing, though, is does he? I think he doesn't hate Bruce.
Oh, he did.
He very much hated Bruce.
He very much did.
I don't
First
think
scene in episode 1, we're like, oh.
I don't think he hated Bruce. I think he just wanted. The whole point of season 1 was him trying to break away to become his own entity. He hated the fact that he was the shadow of Batman. Not that he hated Bruce.
No, he hated what Bruce turned him into.
Yeah, they went through a whole thing about that. He even has that conversation with Jason Todd about he's going to turn you into what he wants you to be.
Very clearly.
Very much clear. He is not very high on Bruce throughout the entire first season. The only reason why I'm... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Now that he's the leader of the Titans, he's going to do with them what Batman did with him.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he doesn't hate Batman. He doesn't hate Batman. He doesn't hate Bruce Wayne. He thinks he does, but he doesn't. He doesn't. Let's be real. He's like, I don't want to become that, but he does. I can't live without him. I can't live without him, but I really do need him. Mm. You know, it's a love-hate. He is trying to become his own person, which is why he becomes Nightwing. Oh my gosh, he is a version of Batman. Oh
no,
God.
He's not Nightwing yet. In this episode, he is very much Xavier. He's very much Charles.
Oh yeah.
They are
yes.
stealing so much from Professor Xavier in this episode. It's
But he
ridiculous.
can walk.
Even the whole thing about this is a place where we teach people like you how to be their
Yeah.
best selves. It's like this is a line straight out of Xavier's mouth. There's no bones about this at all. So you say he becomes Nightwing. Nightwing who, sir? He's just like, this is the school for special children. Like,
True. I'm saying he becomes, at some point, he becomes Nightwing. Lee knows,
fine.
probably we don't.
I understand that. And the journey watching him become Nightwing is fantastic. I just wish that there was a little bit more consistency with the show in some of the things they're doing. Namely, Dick's relationship to Bruce. And if they did the whole ex-junkie thing with Hank and Dove, it could have been done a lot cleaner. I should have known about it. I shouldn't be asking questions about whether or not they were junkies at one point in their past.
I agree.
Yeah, but you kind of get it here, and then you just kind of move on.
Right. Well, they are side characters. They're not really part.
Yeah, I mean they are, but they're not.
They're side.
They kind of pop. They pop in and they're part of it, but that's
They're side.
kind of yeah.
That's why they're side characters.
Well,
Right.
they're doing the thing where they're bringing everybody together and everybody's gonna kind of join in San Francisco. And
Where's Cyborg?
Not yet, man. Not yet.
that's a very good question. That's
I
a
know not
very
yet.
that's a
Oh.
very good question.
I forgot. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in this. I think it has to be this. It's totally this season. Yeah, you'll enjoy this.
Don't say anything.
I'm not gonna say anything,
Say nothing.
but I know things have been ruined because you looked things up before. But
I have not.
Yeah.
I started to look on season 1 for something, and I saw a thumbnail from season 4, and I was like, no.
you saw like a bunch of characters there. That's the problem. Is I didn't want to know which characters were coming in.
I only saw
Right.
2, and I was like, no.
Mm.
I started doing that because I wanted more backstory about some of these characters. So it's just like, ooh, when was this character introduced in what comic and blah 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 blah. And yeah, I ended up getting spoiled on the whole Bruce thing being in the show, and I was like, I could have gone without really knowing that.
I was spoiled too. Somebody told me.
Yeah, well, we knew that you're gonna hear something from Bruce Wayne. What we didn't know to what extent. I'll say this. From what I've seen, and this isn't really spoiling much, Bruce, what you saw of Bruce is basically what you're going to see of Bruce. There's not a lot of Bruce.
Good.
And that's just so you kind of feel that comment. It's like, don't expect there to be a bunch of Batman stuff.
Good.
Is
It's
that
really just
smart
like-
though?
Yes.
Are we sure?
You don't want to. You don't want to bring Batman. This show's not about Batman.
It's not
I
Justice
agree.
League.
I agree.
And that's what we talked about before when we were doing like Mandalorian, and you said you were gonna nope out as soon as they start bringing Jedi and lightsabers in. I'm noping out. And if they took this show and made it a Batman show, it'd be like that's not what this is. That's
It's not
what
Justice
this is.
League.
Yeah.
It's not.
This-
But again, we're introducing Dick did not handle himself very well. He was drugged up. His mind was poisoned. There's a lot that was going on with Dick where somebody else had to help him. And I just feel like you're writing in a lot of characters that Dick is incapable of handling on his own. And you have this looming shadow of Bruce that is all over this character.
Right, but he's going to have the rest of the Titans with him, though. You mean Corey's going to come back? Corey's going to come back.
Are we sure she's going to come back?
Of course.
Okay, so she gets kidnapped in
part
this episode, and they call her Your Highness.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but in the comics and in the TV shows, what's her superhero name?
Starfire.
Starfire. She is a main character of the Titans, so she's coming back.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Donna
I'll-
Troy, Wonder Girl.
Wonder Girl.
What the heck, Wonder Girl?
Wonder Girl.
Oh my gosh, this character, awful. I don't like her. I don't like her at all.
I love what they're
I don't-
doing in this
I don't-
episode, though. They're
just-
staking
Wonder
out.
Girl was never part of the Titans, though. That's why I don't like it.
Don't-
Eh,
Worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I'm okay with Donna. I'm okay with Donna in this show. I think it's interesting. I like what the two of them are doing, and they're on the stakeout to catch this metahuman that they're calling them. and it's this woman that shimmers.
So the Flash, the
Yeah.
TV show The Flash coined that phrase.
Yeah, metahumans.
Metahumans.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also in DC Universe Online and stuff like that. It's well used.
Well, it started with The Flash,
Mhm.
and then they just coined it, and then everybody started using it.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the term metahuman.
Yeah,
But
me too.
anyway, so they're taking out and they're trying to capture this shimmer, who literally shimmers. And I like what she does. She like picks up a paper and she chucks it at the two of them, and it like turns into like a solid weapon that's like
glass.
flying at them. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool effect.
Hey everybody, Lee from Black and White Reviews here. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you for tuning in, checking out our conversation. If you like this discussion and you want to hear more about this specific subject or other things, check us out on our podcasting sites, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or Google Podcasts. We're up on pretty much all of them. So yeah, thanks again for popping by, and yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.